So let's do an experiment. Close your eyes. Come on, just humor me for 6 seconds. Take yourself back to a summer night when you were a kid, just kicking around with friends, telling those epic stories where you laughed until you cried, feeling like alive, like anything was possible. Now open your eyes. How did that feel? It felt pretty damn awesome, right? That's what it feels like to be lit up. So here's my question. When was the last time you felt that way? Even for a moment. If your answer wasn't sometime in the last 7 days, no matter how old you are, that's not okay. Nor is accepting that you won't feel that way again for years, if ever. Somewhere along the line, we've bought into this notion that growing up means surrendering just a bit more to apathy and futility and disconnection and disability every day, when in fact it's just the opposite. Growing up doesn't mean snuffing out your flame. It means doing everything possible to become so lit up, you become a living, breathing embodiment of what's possible. That's the way you want to live. And it's also the example that you want to set. Problem is, so many of us have fallen into a rut. We've given up. You're so disconnected from vitality and play and meaning and people you love, you don't even know where to begin anymore. Which is exactly why we've created Camp GLP, or Good Life Project. That's the short version. Think summer camp for grown-ups meets Good Life ignition switch and career kickstarter. For 3.5 days in September, we're taking over a 120-acre summer camp just 90 minutes from New York City. But what we're doing there is gonna kind of blow your mind. With everything from color war to crafting, jamming with the rock band, to canoeing and rock climbing and bonfire and talent show, and all that amazing stuff that lit you up as a kid, it'll be a total mind-body reset. And that alone would be pretty awesome. But we're also taking this giant step further. You know that question that I asked earlier? Well, what if we got even more specific? When was the last time you felt lit up at work? And yes, even if you're your own boss, there's so much pain around feeling stuck in the way that you contribute to the world. How do you build a career, a business, or a body of work that's not only lucrative, but filled with meaning and joy and impact? So we wanted to make Camp GLP not only about reconnecting with joy on a personal level, but reigniting your career, your path, your venture, or business. So we brought together a world-class group of teachers to lead more than 20 powerhouse workshops on everything from branding to crowdfunding and launching a business or product, to starting a consumer revolution, to building your revolution or your community and your vision, and even cultivating the mindfulness and the resilience and maker mindset that magnetizes pretty much everything you do. In just the first 2 weeks, we're already closing in on about the halfway mark for the number of campers that we're looking for. And we've got 2.5 months to go now, which brings me to the reason for this video. So apparently, we didn't quite think of every question you guys would want to ask, and since announcing Camp GLP, we've gotten a ton more questions, and 5 or so of them keep getting repeated in various ways. So I figured instead of answering them all at one time, I'd just create a short video to answer the 5 biggest questions about Camp GLP. So here they are. Number 1. What makes Camp GLP so different than anything else out there? It's a great question, and I guess really it starts with you guys. I mentioned our community above. We've got one of the most amazing tribes on the planet. Everywhere I go, when I meet fellow Gleepers, that's what the tribe calls themselves, I'm blown away by your kindness and playfulness and intelligence and willingness to help each other, and also your drive to create serious meaning in the world. This is really all about bringing that juicy bundle of global soul together. And you've got our ridiculously cool staffers and presenters and workshop leaders, some of the smartest, most gifted and accomplished people on the planet, who are also there mostly out of love and service. But beyond that, the big difference is our totally unique menu of summer camp meets accelerated entrepreneurship, maker, and personal growth workshops. Where else can you bounce from color war to crowdfunding, from hand lettering to visual branding, from rock climbing to playing in a rock band, or from launch training to tea blending? And here's the last huge difference. We're doing it all in a real, live, sleepaway camp. Now, sure, that makes it a ton of fun, but there's something else that happens in this setting that'll never happen at any other traditional conference or event. It's maybe the single biggest life ignition switch, one that a lot of people miss out. The most powerful thing about Sleepaway Camp when you're a kid, it's that you're literally living and breathing together 24/7. The magic, the things that crack you open and build friendships for life, they're rarely the big activities. It's those soulful, heart and mind-opening conversations that happen in the moments walking along a path and after a workshop, lying in your bunk, making up stories as you doze off together, just sitting around on the porch or bonfire or the lake, chatting about life as the sun melts over the mountains and the light leaves the sky. Those are the moments, those conversations, they're the real difference makers. The things that'll leave you changed, and you don't get those in a traditional conference or event, where people just show up for the sessions, blow from person to person in search of networking opportunities, and then head off on their own, or split into cliques or vanish into hotels scattered all over town before kind of rinsing and repeating the next day. Nobody needs another event like that, but what you do need, what we all need, is a way to step outside of that everyday mindless rush, to drop into a beautiful, natural, live-in setting built from the ground up to light you up and inspire those defining stories that no place on earth can but this. All that stuff matters, that reconnects you to source and self and growth in people, the stuff that makes us like nothing else. And along with you, our global tribe, our mentors, a pretty stunning menu of programs, that's what makes Camp GLP so radically different than anything else at any price. Which brings up question number 2. So what's up with your price? So here's an interesting thing. When you break it down, Camp GLP is actually way less expensive than your average conference or event. The big thing you've got to remember about Camp GLP tuition is that it includes all of your accommodations and all of your meals. So the average conference these days will cost you anywhere from about $500 to $2,000. It's US dollars. But then you've got to go spend another $500 to $1,000 for a place to stay and every meal, every snack, every drink. So your real out-of-pocket is closer to $1,000 to $3,000. With us, accommodations and food, they're all included. The one price covers everything, which makes Camp GLP about the least expensive experience like this out there by a pretty huge margin. One other thing. We've got more than 20 professional level workshops and trainings going on without anything else. If you could even access those trainings outside of camp, they'd cost you in the thousands of dollars, and at camp, it's all included. It's part of the experience. Imagine the impact on your career and your business, the body of work that massive knowledge transfer can give you. So our goal is really to offer so much value that it makes it near impossible to say anything other than, holy crap, how can I not do this? So, okay, question number 3. It sounds kind of awesome is what the question says, but what if you're kind of not really just a bunk type of person? And that's totally cool. First, you gotta know these bunks, they're pretty freaking sweet. Not the grungy ones you may remember from like all the 1980s camp movies, although they look pretty fun too. They're beautiful, they're clean, they're modern with bathrooms and private showers, so you won't have to get naked, by the way, in front of anyone else, which happens to answer another one of the top questions that we've gotten. So, as I mentioned, part of the whole camp experience, it's those zenned out late night conversations that you and your bunkmates will have, just kind of chilling on the steps of the bunk or dozing off to sleep. So often, those are the moments, lifelong friendships, and legendary stories that come out of those times. But hey, we also understand that some of you would really love to come, but you're just not maybe bunk people, and that's cool. Maybe you're an introvert, you just need time to chill alone, and I totally get that too. So for you, we actually have about 40 private rooms, and you can book one just for you or share it with another person. It's also a great option for couples who'd love to bunk together. You just have to make sure that you book it before those 40 private rooms are gone. So no matter what your needs are for accommodations, we pretty much got you covered, whether you're a bunk person or a solitude person. Which brings us around to question number 4. What type of people are coming? Will I like them? Will they like me? The one word that comes to mind when I meet fellow tribe members or gleepers, as our tribe has come to call themselves, is that they tend to be just really nice, cool people. I mean, the kinds you want to hang out with. If you like watching or listening to our interviews, if you care about building a future that matters with people that you can't get enough of and aspire to make a difference, that's the type of person that we tend to attract. And we've also noticed that we have a great mix of age ranges, with a definite trend towards folks who are a bit further into life and maybe have more responsibilities and make decisions a bit differently because they've got people relying on them. And the awesome thing about that is it's the wonderful depth of stories and experience and orientation towards possibility within the tribe. So often, once people leave their 20s, they've given up on the hope of feeling lit up again, the possibility of building a powerful career that aligns with who you are. You just figure being a grown-up is about accepting more suck and less play. And our Gleepers prove that totally wrong. We're people like you who are saying, not so fast. We've got one pass through this, and we really want to do it right. That's the type of person who's coming to camp. So if you feel that way too, then come on over and you can play with us. Okay, on to our final question here. What kind of freaks, geniuses, and hippies are leading us at camp? So this is a question we get in various forms, and let's just say our camp is about the most awesome crew ever assembled. They love people, they love to serve, they fully embrace their inner dork, geek, artist, maker, and maverick. They're friendly, they're welcoming, they're playful, and they're also ridiculously smart. Our workshop leaders are not only soulful, they're insanely accomplished in their fields with serious track records, and they're here first and foremost because they're Gleepers too, members of our tribe, and they want to see you light up and come alive because we're all the same person. Oh, and they're also, by the way, ridiculously excited to be running around in knee socks, visors, and maybe the occasional megaphone, so you may see that happening too. So I hope that helps answer your big questions about Camp GLP. We don't get many opportunities to do things that become those defining stories, to find and fall in love with people who just get us and rally behind us and don't ask us to be someone else. We just don't get many moments to step out of that day-to-day grind and experience things that inspire us deeply and change us and change our careers and businesses and lives. So my goal is to make Camp GLP that moment for you, a total business and life reset, reconnection, and ignition switch. A pattern interrupt and massive catalyst for growth and lightness and connection. A place to rediscover joy and passion and friendship and leave more lit up and armed with knowledge and support than ever before. And one last thing, if you're watching this early enough, there just might be some pretty interesting discounts available to you too. So head on over to goodlifeproject.com/camp and grab your spot now. As always, we love playing with you, and I'm so grateful for your kindness and your energy. Hope to see you at camp. So some of you may be wondering about this big giant hunking picture of a dog that's hanging out behind me. And it's kind of fun because it's called Good Dog, and it was done by an artist named Lisa Grubb in 1995. And it was actually my first ever serious art purchase. But at the time I had no idea it was my first ever serious art purchase. I had just gotten my first big job as a lawyer in a very past life, and I was walking a block away in front of the Museum of Modern Art, and there were all these artists selling their stuff out front. And I just walked by her and I saw it and I fell in love with everything she did. So I said, I want that one. I didn't have enough cash on me to actually buy it, so I gave her part of it. I ran to the bank, I got some money, and I came back. And when I came back, I noticed that she had actually painted my name, Jonathan, in the bone in the dog. So my name is actually painted into the painting. And I gave her my money, and I've kind of fallen in love with it. And we've been traveling with this for the last 21 years, kind of going place to place to place to place, and until finally, it's taken us 21 years to actually have a room where we could kind of put it up and make it the centerpiece of the room. And it's an awesome reminder. It's so happy and it's so alive and so vital with energy that you just keep looking at it. And whenever I see it, it's like a reset switch for me. It puts me into that lit up state because it makes me smile and makes me also kind of think back to that story and really remember where I've came from and how I've evolved and how I'll continue the story from this moment forward.